There are people starving in Gaza. The situation seems to have escalated drastically these past few weeks. What needs to be done for the Gazans to get the aid and stop the humanitarian crisis? Will bringing in more aid do the trick? Let's break it down. So, we're getting these images from Gaza, but also these ones. How can these two be real at the same time? I'm not going to talk about propaganda or fake videos because neither of these images are fake. They're both a reality in Gaza. But if we get all of the facts about the situation in Gaza, we can arrive at a real solution that will save lives. 470,000 tons of food alone, not including the rest of the aid or water, have entered the borders of Gaza since the beginning of this year, after being checked by the Israeli forces. And this includes the April-March blockade of food. That's around 1.2 kilos of food per person every single day. That includes ingredients like flour that can be turned into bigger amounts of food and oil, which is extremely high in calories, far from being a situation that would cause hunger or let alone starvation. So why are many Gazans still not getting the food? To understand where all this food is going, we can divide Gaza into three main sections. The first one are the central camps, where the IDF has not yet had food soldiers inside, where the IDF has not yet entered, where we can find one GHF distribution site. This is where you see all of the videos of restaurants, the coffee places, the abundance. This is where Hamas's top-ranking officers are staying and where the hostages are presumed to be held. For the Arab world, it's important to show resilience. So the Gazans make content in Arabic showing how they are thriving despite of the war and the destruction. The malls, the markets, the coffee shop, just like anywhere else in the world. The second is southern Gaza, where all of the rest of the GHF distribution sites are located. Up until today, the GHF has been factually the most effective method of getting food directly to the hands of the Gazans themselves compared to all other international organizations, the UN and Hamas, to date.
American, very good. Trump.
A minimum of 2 million meals are distributed every single day. 91 million meals distributed in the last 2 months alone directly to the hands of Gazans, despite everything that is being said or happening with Hamas and the people waiting in lines. And the third is the rest of Gaza, where the UN has been and still is in charge of distributing aid. This is where you get all of these images from. Why is this the case? Well, let's look at the facts. On a regular basis, tons and tons of food await distribution inside of Gaza after being checked by the IDF and just sit there for days without being picked up by the UN. Just sitting under the sun, under the elements, with no restriction from the IDF. Truck drivers constantly go on strikes because of Hamas attacking and looting the trucks, threatening the drivers themselves and their families, and the damage on the drivers and the trucks themselves caused by mobs assaulting the aid trucks. The IDF offered a UN number of times to protect the aid trucks on their routes, but the UN declined.
But there still seems to be a contradiction here, because on the one hand, you're saying Israel is responsible for the security of humanitarian delivery in Gaza, and the other hand, the UN will not accept IDF-provided security to these convoys. So I'm not sure how you reconcile that.
I think we reconcile it by trying to find a way to keep our people and the community as safe as possible. Okay, on that note,
saying that it might incite Hamas to attack the convoys. Instead, the UN requested for Hamas's police to be the ones escorting the convoys in a move that defies all logic, and for Israel to supply Hamas with walkie-talkies and other communication devices. Needless to say, Israel was not a big fan of giving Hamas their communication devices. In the past 2 months, 1,655 UN trucks have gone into Gaza. 1,404 of them were intercepted, meaning taken by Hamas, or looters, per the UN's own numbers, meaning only 15% of the UN aid trucks actually reach their destination. But if they're not reaching their destination, where are they ending up?
والموز موز والبلح بلح واللحمة لحمة واليوم لفات رز ويا حبيبي وهم يغلب عليكم المانجا مانجا مبهجة.
At the hands of Hamas. At the hands of whoever is fighting with Hamas. This is a video filmed and shared by Hamas's terrorists feasting inside of the tunnels with fresh fruits, meat, hummus, and bread. The aid exists, and it's going into Gaza, but only to the hands of those serving Hamas, which is the reason why Hamas escorting convoys would be like putting the wolf in charge of the sheep. That's one of the main reasons and one of the main ways Hamas is controlling the Gazans and recruiting new members. If you join their ranks and fight, you will have food and shelter. If you don't, well... This is where this footage joins our analysis. These are Gazans who have been stripped, escorted by Hamas, and their food taken that they have gotten for free from the GHF centers. In addition, Hamas is also being seen shooting their own people after they got aid from the GHF. They can't afford to have Gazans to get the free aid for free because Hamas sells the aid that they got for free in the black market for prices that it's impossible for the Gazans to pay. A single bag of flour in the areas controlled by Hamas costs more than most first world countries in the world. Flour that enters Gaza for free. Okay? A 25-kilo bag of flour can cost between $300 and $500. According to the Gazans, that's $40 per pound of flour. Hamas has attacked the GHF centers multiple times, kidnapped and murdered GHF workers, threatened more in addition to attacking and murdering any Gazans who talk about Hamas's evil rule in public, calling them traitors. But most of this is not new. This has been going on since the beginning of the war. So why this sudden surge in hunger among some Gazans? Because Hamas is not going to give up their power in Gaza. No matter what, as long as they're breathing. Any current ceasefire proposal to end the war from the Israeli side must come with Hamas giving up their rule over Gaza. And they won't do it, no matter how much it costs the Gazans. So, if Gazans start to actually starve, the pressure on Israel to stop the war will increase and they'll get everything they want without accepting a ceasefire deal. They will take them out of power without having to give up hostages, anything, as they are right now. So, in conclusion, more than enough food is entering Gaza. There is a proven method of delivering free aid directly to Gazans. It's abundant and safe through the GHF. Hamas is doing everything it can to prevent the GHF from feeding the Gazans. It's killing its own people who are choosing this alternative, looting convoys coming from the UN, giving it to their own terrorists, and purposefully starving the Gazans under the rule. So now, knowing all of this, we can go back to the question with which we opened this video. What needs to be done for the Gazans to get aid and stop the humanitarian crisis? Will bringing more aid do the trick? I hope the answer is clear now. Let me know what you think.